Motrimis mama capre, motrimis mama capre.
Previously on
Let's get it on! Anyway, we were gifted the lovely city of Pelendava by none other than Zalmoxis himself. But we, of course, managed to kick a gift horse in the mouth. I really want to assassinate her, but for some reason I can't. I don't really understand why. Oh my god, we are... we are in the shitter. Yes, what she really is our new lover, since our wife is such a failure. Palace riots. It's those damn nomadics and Germans that come in. Welcome to July. Shameful concessions. That the proper way is to go into the woods and defecate there. No, we are no longer reliant on stealing food from others just to be able to survive. No, that's winter.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
And welcome to another exciting new episode of Let's Get It On. This is our second and hopefully final divinely ordained crusade against the evil forces of the Scordisci, or as the Romans will say, Scordisci. But who talks like a Roman? Here we butcher everything, including pronunciations. So looks like the Zalmoxis gifted us with two gifts today to spice up the beginning of the slaughtering of the crusade. First, the enemy has a shitload of archer, like one shitload of a unit of measurement of archers, and of course they're attacking. They chose to attack, yes. And when they started selling out of Segundum, it started raining. So this is wonderful news for us, because the bowmen will be a lot less effective. So thank you, Zalmoxis. And the second gift will soon be very obvious to us. The actual army, the Stone Crows, has to wait for the reinforcements to come from the big town of Segundum. And despite the game trying to scare me and to tell me that there are 7 units in this army, as we can hopefully count to 4, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 units in this army. One of these is my favorite type of general. Actually, this is the king. I don't even know. Is the really heavily armored spear unit that they keep in the back because he's a general. So he's losing all kind of any type of effectiveness in the battle. And of course we are taking advantage of this. Or are we? Well, we are supposed to, because our cavalry is supposed to show up any minute now. Yes, it's too foggy. This is the king and the princelings. And on the other side we have the more quote-unquote professionals, Kostico himself, who studied the blade, and his new proteges, I guess, the horses, actual Dacians, equestrian aficionados. We will try to take care of this army very quickly. Now, we did manage to catch the archers by surprise, and with our king, or at least we're trying to do that. But of course the princelings are way too fast, and they are already trying to do their known tricks of hurling insults and pilums towards the enemy general. And this time they're also assisted by the equestrian club of Petrodava, was it? That's where they were recruited, or Pelendava. And of course our king, King Tarbus, the first to his name, king of the Getae and the first man, is doing short work of archers. But as soon as real fighting men show up, we will reconsider and reposition. And there's a lot of reposition actually. And since this is a crusade, of course the first unit that is going to engage the enemy, the actual enemy, would be the die-hard Potulatense, who are If you remember our formation, the Malva line is not supposed to have any of these Potulatensi, but since the enemy forgot to bring all of its archers in the beginning of the war, we just quickly, because that's the major advantage of this, since they refuse to wear shirts and armor and hats and stuff. Actually, hats they do wear, just helmets. It is too much. They're really fast, so they can come from deep behind our lines to meet the enemy in almost no time. And we are also engaging them with I think 1 unit of Sika, but they are backed up with 1 unit of youth, because Sikas alone can't do the work of an actual unit, even though they're just fighting I think militia units. And of course we break this army in no time. And look at this Potulatense just doing the work of two military units in no time. And behind them we can actually see the rest of the army starting to show up, the defenders.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
The garrison of Sigundum, and for some reason it looks like I forgot to move the poor princelings, and they will get engulfed by townfolk. Well, luckily for them, townfolk are not really good fighters. Wow, this was quite a disaster that I didn't notice even until now. Well, I guess some died. That was quite neglectful and sad. But eventually we did manage to pull them out of there. And here I think we are trying to engage a unit of an enemy unit of cavalry, because they do have I think 2 of those in the actual garrison, which is impressive and quite unusual in our parts. But for some reason they sent to aid their own cavalry, they sent the archers to help them, which is interesting choice. It could have worked, but it didn't. And in the center we did manage to mop up the floor with the rest of the Stone Crow army, which are dead, and now we are actually moving back into our nice formation. And the Potulatense are coming to hide beneath some mistletoes, beneath the nice trees, so they won't be hassled so much by enemy fire. And here we are taking a nice position on this hill, because I think 2 or 3 units decided to come and chase the princelings. So of course the princelings have a lot of friends among our own youths, so I think yeah, this is the youth unit that came to aid them. And of course we moved all of our archers as well to try and hit, because these are just a unit of townfolk that are really eager, because they saw they did manage to kill like 3 or 4 of the enemy cavalry, so they decided to be eager and zealous about it, and they fell into a little bit of an ambush, an interesting ambush.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Since we don't have the high ground, we actually waited for them to come over the zenith and then unleashed Hellfire, or Hell Pilum and Hell Pebble. And look at those, I don't think they will even, yeah, even before making contact they just break, because they heard the ramblings, the tramplings of the men and horses that they were chasing, which is a smart decision, coming back towards them, and the youth coming to mop them up. And this was a very nice combined arms operation. And the other townfolk made contact with our extreme Malva line on our right flank, and we are of course sending the horses and their friends to again make short work of those poor town people that were over eager for their own good. And the real battle is starting in the middle. the actual fighting units, because they do have like 2 or 3 regiments of actual warriors, these guys who are well armed and well equipped and well trained, and they are they are trying to be stopped by our Malva line, and we are sending our usual maneuver, sending the X-Men to try and chop off some limbs, and on the other side I think we sent what was available, I think another unit of spear. Anyway, despite all of our good maneuvering, this was still touch and go here, because if our center breaks, and if you remember in our past battles, the center did break, not the actual Malva line, but the Seekers crumbled under the pressure, so it's not unheard of, because we are still this is still an army in its infancy, and we don't have a lot of modifiers or experience for the men to just hold for prolonged periods of time. Even our maneuver to try and get the enemy general didn't really work, because he's still up and about with his actually almost full unit. Now this maneuver was a really interesting one by the Scordisii. They are maneuvering their general into a position to flank our most exposed units. I think this is the unit of Sika, who is fighting with another foe and has their back fully at the general. So if I wasn't really paying attention like I did with the Princelings, this could have been a huge disaster and another major rout by our Sikas. But yeah, they are moving. Yes, this is an interesting maneuver by the AI, doing its best to come and actually flank us. But I think our concentrated fire really did a number on them, and the unit just broke. I guess the general got injured and decided to screw it, and he fled the field of battle. And here come the PEC, the Peledava Equestrian Club.
Each horse is different. You need to find the key, the invisible emotion.
Here at PEC we teach you the most important lesson Dacian cavalry needs to know: how to properly fall off your horse without injuring yourself. And just look at this divine retribution that we are inflicting on our enemies in the name of our glorious god Zalmoxis, because he more or less forced us to fight the Scordisci. Even from the beginning of the game we had really bad relations with them, and then they attacked the Dacia just as we had our army there conveniently. So this is like literally divine intervention. This must be pleasing our more devout population. And actually let's touch on some of interesting practices that people associate with the Zalmoxiites, I guess. They had something similar to the silly Puritan witch trials. They, in order to, how do you find out if someone is evil? You of course gather at least 3 burly men, each holding a spear. Then you get 3 burlier men, I guess, and climb a table or something. You just need to be a bit higher than them, and you grab the guy that you want to know if he's evil or not, and you hurl him at the guys with the spears that are beneath you. And if he gets impaled and survives, he's not that evil. He's a good man. If he doesn't get cut at all, then he is a very good man. And if he dies as an evil man. Like a win-win situation. How can you beat a justice system like that? And here we are trying to form, or not trying, we are forming our victory parade. Because this was quite a victory. I think this is the second and final stage of our divinely ordained crusader against the evil forces of the Scordisii. and we will actually capture the city and eradicate their menace and avenge their invasion of Pelendava, their capture of Pelendava, and their mistreatment of our fellow duchy, ignoring the fact that we declare war on the duchy first. Because as we all know, history is written by the victors, and as we can see by the end result of this scuffle, this deadly battle, we are the victorious. So we will slightly rearrange the annals of history to fit our vision of events. Truth be damned. And yeah, these are the final lovely moments of the parade. But soon we will just shout for victory and have a lovely old time, maybe have a picnic in the rain amongst the blood. I'm sure the Turatense will just love this spot to eat their weird goat cheese. And welcome to the best part of these videos, the showing of the numbers. And I think that the real MVPs of this battle would be the Princelings with 860 kills. That's a lot of kills, and the big part of it, of course, is by them chasing down enemies. But also we did have that tiny miscalculations or forgetfulness moment that we literally abandoned them to be attacked by enemy forces, and despite that losing men and morale to just to silly enemy fire and just a big oversight, they did came through where we need them. And the new cavalry also performed quite well. They did because they are not as fast as the Princelings, but not as slow as our actual heavy cavalries. They could run down and pin down and fight most of the enemy own cavalry. So they did that, and by doing so they exposed themselves to most of the enemy fire. So they did suffer from a lot of attrition and casualties this battle. The actual line more or less held. It was depleted already, and the Sikas performed well, but suffered severe losses. Might have to deal with that. Same with our X unit. The Malva line is a solid line, but again, this is every loss is annoying now because we are in enemy territory and we can't replenish. So this is attrition galore. Other than that, of course, the Turatense almost single-handedly killed this army. These two units are all on them, and even the archers did a big number, despite mostly shooting at the enemy general or king or whoever he was. So all in all, not bad.